news that are not in their favor. This was the sister of the former president, the elder sister of the Zambian former president, that is Dr. Edgar Changwa Lungu. As soon as the judgment was issued, and when the Attorney General of Zambia was being interviewed by media houses, she broke out and began to cry. I think when I hear some, they say she was insulting whilst crying in the process. That's how people actually process anger. Greetings. Welcome on your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So let's hear the sister of the former president of Zambia, how she behaved in court as the Attorney General was being interviewed. I hope this... Yes, so that was the sister of the former president of the Republic of Zambia. As soon as she heard the news that the court had ruled in favor of the government of that respective country, ordering the family to release the body so that the late former president of the Republic of Zambia could be accorded a state funeral, and I think it's a big score, especially to the Zambian government. I must put it that way. Though they said there is no winner in this matter, is a winner. Actually, it was a contested matter in a court. It's either the court rules in favor of the government or rules in favor of the family, of which in this regard it ruled in favor of the government. That is why you see the family behaving and reacting in such a manner. But the wife of the late former president of the Republic of Zambia, that is Dr. Edgar Changwa Lungu, was composed, trying to calm the sister of the former president. I think at the heart of that particular sister was the pain of actually going against the wishes of the dead. In my culture, they are always saying the wishes of the dead are binding. But guess what? With the court system, the judiciary system, something that is foreign, something that was brought in Africa, it reached a decision that in fact the wishes of the late former president does not count on this particular matter. He has to be offered a dignified funeral, even against his will. In summation, that is what the court, in the High Court of Pretoria, actually ruled in favor of, because the interest of the deceased person were not actually taken into account, but rather the interest of the government of the day was taken into account. But remember, it is the very same Dr. Edgar Lungu government that set the precedent during their time in power. The interest of the late former president, again, were not actually considered. In fact, he was offered a state funeral, even though the family was against that. So history is merely repeating itself. I think this also should be clear to the current sitting president that whenever God decides to call him, he would also be forcefully given a state funeral, even against his will. Remember, a judgment set a precedence. It becomes law. So even this judgment that was handed down in South Africa to a foreign president, it will be used on other cases. It will be actually a case law. That is what it is. But the sister appeared not to be taking that very, very well. But the government of Zambia, the Attorney General, even though words were spoken against him by the sister of the late president, remained very, very calm, addressed the media, said, no, I understand the temperatures are high at the moment. There is a lot of anger, but we will actually get over with this particular situation. And the family of Dr. Edgar Changwa Lungu not actually taking the news very, very well, in particular the sister who could not hold herself. She broke out and cried. Remember, there was an attempt, they had actually initially prepared to bury the late president in South Africa, and the gathering was done. A lot of people were transported from Zambia to attend that funeral, and during the last minute, the Zambian government filed an application with the funeral, leading to today's court. I think it's embarrassing that Zambians cannot amicably resolve their own. I think there should be some form of a lesson to the Zambian people that, of course, you may fundamentally disagree politically, but it doesn't have to warrant a foreign country having to intervene into your internal affairs. This could have easily been actually discussed between the family as well as the government, the parties, and agreed. I was happy when I heard that they had agreed, but they said the government violated some of the agreements they had actually initially reached with the government, leading the family to take a decision to bury the late former president in a foreign land, and the government had no other available options to stop this but to seek legal recourse, of which they did so. And so the former president of the Republic of Zambia would now be repatriated if the case is not contested from a higher court. I still maintain it's not yet over, especially if the family feels their rights were not properly considered by the higher court. They can approach Supreme Court of Appeal if they want to speed up the matter. If the matter is a constitutional matter, then they can head straight to the Constitutional Court for finality. So if the family still wants to fight, they still have got legal options to take. It remains to be seen whether the judgment is enforceable even with an appeal, but I don't think so. The appeal necessarily suspends the judgment of a lower court. So the family not happy, particularly the sister of Dr. Edgar Changwa Lungu, and expressing her displeasure as soon as the judgment was handed down by a foreign country, that is the South African, South Africa, by a court in that particular country. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stuff.